Good afternoon. We're just going to wait just a few seconds to allow everybody to enter into the webinar, and we will kick off in just a few seconds. All right. So good afternoon, everyone, and hello to the Partnering for Vaccine Equity Learning community members, as well as all others who are working to advance vaccine equity. I am Carla Willis. I'm a member of the Learning Community's Group Learning team, and on behalf of our team at the Urban Institute and our partners at the CDC, thank you for being with us this afternoon. The American Public Health Association, or APHA, hosts an annual meeting each fall where thousands of public health professionals gather to share their work, connect with, and learn from one another. The meeting is expansive and has so much to offer, but it can also be a little overwhelming to navigate, especially if it's your first time attending. So today's session focuses on preparing for the upcoming APHA annual meeting, which is in mid-November in Atlanta, Georgia this year. We'll hear from a leader in CDC's Immunization Services Division who has attended many past APHA meetings. We're fortunate to tap into her knowledge about how to make the most of this large and multifaceted meeting. And we're also thrilled that more than a dozen posters, oral presentations, or films from pay-funded programs will be featured at this year's meeting. So before we go any further, we do have a few key points about how this session will work. First, we offer live interpretation from English to Spanish during our events. If you would like to listen in Spanish to the Spanish language channel, simply click on the globe icon in the Zoom taskbar at the bottom of your screen. You've all been muted upon entry to this session. If you have any question for our speaker or panelists during the presentations, we ask that you use the Q&A tool in your Zoom taskbar to submit it. We'll also have a dedicated time for questions and answers at the end, where you can also ask your question live. Just use the raise hand feature at that time, and we'll take you off of mute so that you can speak. The chat room feature is also open today, and we encourage you to use it to introduce yourself or to comment on what you are hearing. However, please try not to put your question for the speakers or the panelists in the chat because we might miss them there. Please submit your questions via the Q&A instead. If you have any technical difficulties at any point during the session, please send an email to our community manager's inbox, which is vaxequitylearning@urban.org, so that we can assist you in troubleshooting. As with all of our learning events, we will post the slides and a recording of this event on our community website and circulate them through the digests that go out through the CDC managed adult vax program listserv, which all paid members should be a part of. And finally, just as a heads up, that as we approach the end of our session and transition into the Q&A portion, we will be launching a very brief poll of your satisfaction with this learning event. We would really appreciate your feedback and hope that you'll participate in this poll when it pops up. Now, to the good stuff. It is my pleasure to introduce our featured speaker for today. Bonita Harris is a community engagement and vaccine equity subject matter expert in the Immunization Services Division of the National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. She leads the coordination of the learning community and partnership support team in the Partnerships and Health Equity branch, where she spearheads efforts to provide technical support to funded community partners through a learning community and combat vaccine misinformation and disinformation and social media as part of CDC's Partnering for Vaccine Equity program. Prior to this appointment, she was the deputy and subject matter expert for racial and ethnic public health issues for the adult population team on the COVID-19 vaccine task force. Ms. Harris joined ISD after a long tenure at the CDC's Office of Minority Health and Health Equity as the senior public health advisor in the Office of the Director, where she led numerous programs and activities to advance health equity and women's health issues across the nation through CDC's science programs, including efforts to increase CDC's capacity to leverage its diverse workforce and engage stakeholders. Bonita has been with the CDC for 32 years. Thank you for joining us today. Bonita, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Carla, for that wonderful introduction. I am just really excited because we're almost at the gate. We're almost there. APHA is closely approaching, and I am really excited that we have so many paid partners who will be participating at APHA. I'm also very excited to see most of you there, and most importantly, to see the wonderful work that we will be highlighting around the efforts that we have put in place over the past 3-4 years to advance vaccine equity. I know many of you expressed some trepidations about a large conference such as APHA and how daunting it can be. But I want you to know that it is an opportunity to network with colleagues, to meet new friends who share like interests in this arena, and to share the many wonderful things that you are embarking on or hope to do. It is a conference of all conference, and I am certain that you will have not only an educational and academic enlightening time, but you will thoroughly enjoy yourself. And to that, we will begin with the presentation just to give you some tidbits and suggestions around how to navigate APHA and similar large public health conferences. Next slide, please. As we all know, the conference will take place November 12th through 15th here in Atlanta, and our theme for APHA is creating the healthiest nation, overcoming social and ethical challenges. And many of you have been doing just that in the work that we have been doing around advancing vaccine equity with the work that we have been doing. Today, we will discuss practical tips and strategies to navigate APHA. We'll talk about learning about the latest research, networking with professionals and peers, sharing your work with others, and even other opportunities to engage, collaborate, and grow. Next slide, please. So, what does APHA offer? As I mentioned, it is one of the largest and premier public health scientific conferences that take place, and people from all over attend APHA. There, you will have an opportunity to engage in scientific program. The annual meeting includes hundreds of scientific presentations and posters on all topics of public health. There are coffee talks, so you have an opportunity to have informal conversations with colleagues, peers, and friends, and even those that you may meet on your ride up and down the escalator between the exhibit halls and the poster displays. There's also an Emerging Scholars Theater, and I really love this. For many of you who have never attended this conference or who are just interested in some of the things that emerging scholars are showcasing, students, or for some of you all who are anticipating going back to school, who may be taking a few classes, I currently urge you to participate in the Emerging Scholars Theater. There's a lot to learn there. You'll also meet a lot of people, and you'll walk away with wonderful information. And then we have the APHA General Sessions and Champion Conversations. During this session, APHA curates an educational program that explores timely and relevant topics featuring key public health thought leaders. At this event, you can hear from key leaders such as leaders from CDC, like our Dr. Mandy Cohen. You can hear from leaders from NIH and other HHS public entities, as well as some of our private and advocacy programs that we partner with, as well as universities and other institutions, about what is on the forefront and horizon of public health. It is an opportunity to hear things firsthand about the emerging trends in public health. There's a leadership lab that offers an awesome collaborative engagement of professional development sessions. There are learning institutes, and I mean, They're learning institutes. And again, for those of you who have certifications or who are taking classes, this is a great opportunity to earn additional CE credits by attending these learning institutes. There are half and full day course sessions that focuses on professional development and build on knowledge and skills. And you walk away with a lot of resources and tools that I am certain that you will use from that point on. And I really love the Public Health Awards ceremony and luncheons. Here, you get to see a lot of your colleagues and friends, and even people you may have just met, be honored and recognized for the wonderful work that they're doing in public health. And I do too love the Public Health Film Festival. I know that we have one or two of our partners, I believe CDC Foundation is participating in the Public Health Film Festival, and I do hope to get an opportunity to see how they demonstrate educational and inspiring efforts to encourage a healthier future during this event. The ignition stage is also wonderful, and there's also APHA TV. There's a lot to do, but you've got to pace yourself. Next slide, please. So with all of that said, and all of those wonderful things that are going to be taking place at APHA, I want to give you some little tidbits to help you prepare before the conference. Plan ahead. If you have already registered for the conference, then at this time, you can already log on to the APHA website. You can take a look at the many sessions that are taking place. You can look and see what colleagues are presenting on, where they're presenting, and even the location. You can take a look at some of the different affinity sessions, caucuses, and work groups that are taking place, and start to take notes and map out some of those things that you're interested in attending or would like to see. I also suggest that you set clear goals. Think about those things. What is it that you hope to accomplish at APHA? If you're presenting, what is it that you would like to see from those who are within the same sessions or caucuses presenting platform with you? Are there other things that you want to know about as you look at broadening your public health professional cadre? Or are you interested in some particular research? So take a look at the program and the APHA website. As a matter of fact, I think I take a look at it now every 2 to 3 days because it changes. Review the program. Take the time to identify sessions, workshop, or those speakers that align with your goals and interests. Write these things down. Also think about the opportunity to connect online. There are groups online that are already forming right now. So APHA has a lot of sessions and caucuses. Take a look at those and look at how you can network. Many of you who've already have received that acceptance and are preparing to present will be presenting under certain sessions or caucuses. So take an opportunity. For example, I know that the Conference of National Black Churches have a couple of APH presentations and a poster session. One of them is sponsored by the Public Health Black Workers Caucus, and one is also sponsored by the Faith-Based Caucus. So please take an opportunity to look at those caucuses that align with what you're doing and the work that you're presenting and prepare. So prepare your materials and ensure that your presentation is also ready. You get an opportunity to get additional tidbits and feedback from visiting those caucuses, and these things will also help you prepare for your presentation if you are presenting. Next slide, please. So now that you are prepared, you have your notes, you've taken notes, you've gotten that elevator speech ready, you know who you want to talk to, you got an idea of some of the sessions, poster sessions, workshops, and coffee meetings that you want to attend. Let's think about what we need to do or think about when we're actually at the conference. Most importantly, arrive early. And I do mean arrive early, because the opening plenary of the APHA session is all hustle and bustle. I like to get in early, get my seat, and even take that opportunity to network with folks sitting next to me, in front of me, and behind me, so that I can have additional folks to network with as we move through the conference. Network, network, network. Network actively. Attend networking events. There are going to be social gatherings. Again, I mentioned the poster sessions. Have your business card. One little cute thing that I do is I have a digital business card. And there's an app called Blink. So when folks are ready for your digital card, they scan a QA app and they have your business card. So you don't have to hassle with having the physical business card on hand, the unique ways to share. I also have a QR of my LinkedIn page available to share with colleagues. That's another suggestion that you may think about. Also, attend diverse sessions, minimize distractions, and fully engage in those sessions. So prepare yourself so that you'll be fully able to take in what that session has to offer, as well as what those colleagues you're networking with have to share in those sessions. Take notes, jot down key takeaways, insights, and most importantly, contact information. And most importantly, ask questions. Engage with the speaker, ask questions, and provide insights. And again, take a look at the program and the program schedule ahead of the conference. Also, one of the neat things that I do is, particularly if I don't know a lot about a speaker, I tend to look that speaker up to find out a little bit more about that speaker and to find out if that speaker is also on LinkedIn. I take a look at what that speaker is presenting about, particularly if it's something that I'm interested in, and start to formulate my questions ahead of time prior to their presentation and prior to the session. Visit the exhibit halls and poster sessions. I think I've met a lot of new colleagues and friends over the years at poster sessions, and I also had the opportunity to reconnect with some colleagues who I met when I was in graduate school and who also worked with me during my first job at the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control. And as I said, this all can be overwhelming. So I always pack a little snacks with me. I have my water bottle, I stay hydrated, and I'm well rested, and I take that time to prepare for the next session. It's not a marathon, but there's a lot to do. And if you pace yourself accordingly, prepare for those things that you're interested in, take notes, ask questions, and take the time to network, I am certain that you'll be well on your way. Next slide, please. So, what do I do after the conference? Well, you go home, you have this backpack and all this information that you collected at information booths at the different poster sessions. You've got connections on LinkedIn. You've got notes that you've taken about things you want to follow up on. Take the time to go through that and look at the notes that you've made so that you can follow up quickly or in real time with those people that you've connected with. If there are some ideas or questions that you have about who you want to chat with, make those notes quickly prior to connecting with them via email or before sending them a LinkedIn request. This is an opportunity to build your professional portfolio as well as your professional cadre of colleagues and friends. Following up was the best thing for me. I got a chance to take a look at some of the different materials, resources, and tools that I got, and I was able to sit back and review and reflect on what took place at the conference. Did I accomplish what I wanted to do? Did I make valuable connections? Did I make new friends, particularly peer friends and colleagues that will be instrumental and helpful and maybe even a sounding board in future career endeavors, or maybe even an opportunity for those who are in school, attending classes, or perhaps planning on a future training or conference? This is the opportunity to reflect and follow up with those colleagues, friends, and networking opportunities that you garnered during the conference. It's also an opportunity to implement what you've learned. A conference is an opportunity to learn from your peers and to learn about new emerging things that you have not heard about before or you have not had the opportunity to expand. I also take notes in this area because, particularly with my interest in community engagement, partnership networking, as well as working in various different populations as relates to racial and ethnic minority health, I've been able to take away a lot of the information, tools, and resources that I've gained over the years at APHA and other similar meetings and have been able to apply them to the work that I do. I've also, in developing that work or planning certain things, have been able to utilize those colleagues and friends that I've met as a sounding board to this work, because many of them have additional knowledge and or expertise in areas that can be very beneficial. This is also an opportunity to share insights. One of the things that I also do, and I've seen a few other colleagues do it, is I've written a short article on APHA about my experience in LinkedIn. I don't know if many of you have had the opportunity to use that feature, but I post that on LinkedIn. I talk about my experience, what I've learned, how beneficial it has been to me, and the impact that it has had on me professionally, and how I can use this information to build upon the work that I'm doing. This gives me an opportunity to share those insights on social media platforms, but to share them with colleagues and even colleagues beyond the realm of the APHA meeting. So given all of this, I take the opportunity to reflect periodically over all of the information that I gathered from the meeting, the colleagues that I've connected with, the insight that I've gained, the sessions that I've attended, the social networks and gatherings where I've made key connections and network. And I plan for the next conference, not just the next APHA conference, but those other conferences that are going to make a difference in the experience that I have moving forward to make a huge difference in the work that we're doing. And most importantly, it's important to stay informed. Please stay up to date on the latest developments in public health. If you are a member of APHA, or if you have already registered, then you should already have access to the APHA 2023 conference platform. So take that opportunity to meet and gather during that meeting and take that information, stay informed, and stay connected. APHA platform also has a member section where you can continue that dialogue with APHA colleagues that you've met at the conference. I think we're sitting on several caucuses and planning caucuses and sessions at APHA. I've had the opportunity to participate all year long as we've prepared and built up to planning for this conference. Next slide, please. Well, I know that I've shared a lot of information with you, and yes, I do say a lot. So I want to take this opportunity to share a few tools and resources. As I mentioned, the digital business card, there's a link called Blink Me, a site called Blink Me, where you can download that app right quickly and have your business card ready along with your profile and your beautiful picture to share with others. APHA also offer key sessions and events. You heard me mention the open and closing general sessions. Those are the two key sessions of APHA. The public health sessions and caucuses, I encourage you to find a session or caucus that interests you and join. These caucuses meet all year long, and this is an opportunity for you to provide valuable input as well as share your intellectual properties and your professional expertise with like colleagues around public health entities and interests that are similar. The social media lab is just awesome. It is an opportunity to connect on various platforms, including the APHA platform that will allow you continuous learning and network throughout the year. The APHA Learning Institutes, as I mentioned, offer continuing education credits. Please, please, please take full advantage of this. And don't forget to visit the APHA Public Health Career Mark Career Guidance Center. There you will find a lot of information from books, materials, resources, as well as I found information about public health walks and runs that have been of interest to me. It's just a cadre of information that I'm sure you will find a lot there and a lot that will be useful to you and a lot that you may be interested in. I also encourage you to send the book signings in the APHA Press. I went and I even got free books as well as the artist's signature. So those books have been very instrumental. I think I got one on diversity and building community engagement in communities of color. I think I picked up several on things around the social ecological model. And believe me, those books and tools have been helpful in the work that I have been doing. Check out the poster presentations, as we mentioned, and also check out the poster presentations, particularly if your paid colleague is presenting. They will love to have you there to support them and to be a part of the work that they're doing as well. Also, visit the Industry Expert Theater to take a sneak peek at innovative products and services from the exhibitors. And like I said, it's important to relax and recharge. APHA also has a wellness center. In addition to being able to unwind, relax, and recharge, they offer great healthy snacks as well. And it is also an opportunity to network and have conversations with peers and colleagues. I also mentioned, or did I, the APHA dance? Please bring your dancing shoes because the mixers and socials are to die for. I found myself running from mixer to social, and I had a wonderful time. And during these mixers, their opportunity to enjoy each other and reflect on the conference. Those are still opportunities to network and meet people that you did not get to meet earlier on. APHA resources. There are also frequent questions that are answered by APHA via this link. So if there's something that we did not answer or I was not able to share, you may find it there. And there's always also a network and collaboration website on APHA where you can also add your name and information to be connected with colleagues that share like interests. Next slide, please. Okay, I know I said a lot, and I know a lot was said. And saying all of that, there is a lot to do at APHA. But if you would pace yourself, plan ahead, think about what your interests are, align yourself with like people, look for peers to engage with, and take a look at the website much prior to attending the conference, I think that you will find that these tidbits and tips will be very helpful as you navigate the APHA conference. I am very excited about the work that we've done with PAVE Partners to build up this culminating event where we will have the opportunity to share the evidence-based work that we have done. So this is an exciting time. It is not a time to be worried. It is not a time to be unsure. It is a time to stretch your feathers. And I mean stretch your PAVE P4VE tail feathers. This is an opportunity to show everyone what we've got, what we've done, and what we're all about. So when I get to APHA, I expect to see my PAVE colleagues strutting their PAVE feathers like a peacock, because we've got this, we've done this, and we're going to show them what PAVE is all about. So I hope that these APHA tidbits are helpful to you and that they will allow you to navigate APHA in an effective manner that's going to be beneficial to you from a professional perspective and as well as from a perspective where you're learning more and more. At this time, we do have the question and answer session available. And so if there are questions, I'll be more than happy to take them at this time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Benita. So if you have opportunity to get into your emojis, please give our speaker, our excellent speaker, a round of applause. Thank you. So prior to getting into some of the questions and answers, we want to make sure that we launch our satisfaction poll question. So you should see it pop up on your screen now. And if you could just take a few moments to complete the poll, we'd really appreciate it.
And Carla, I took a look at some of the questions in the Q&A, and someone asked me, would they be able to meet me there? If you go to the APHA website and log on, you will see that I will have 2 sessions and I will also be involved in a caucus event. So I would love to have you, if you're available, to attend the sessions where I am presenting, but I will also have on tail feathers. So I will be there with bells and whistles on, and you will have my contact information to reach out at the conference. I will be in attendance the full time of the conference because I do sit on several caucuses and APHA sessions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So we will start. I'm going to hand the floor over to Grania. And I think we we had one more advanced question that came in, but we also want to make sure that we reserve any time for any questions that have come up along the way. So, Grania, if you could start with the question, or there seems to be two questions that have already come in, and then we can work to unmute people. If you have additional questions, just raise your hand and we'll unmute you so that you can ask your question.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Carla. And thank you, Benita, for that. That was extraordinarily informative. There is a question here, and I think it can be a joint response between yourself as well as the urban team on the call. Someone's asked when we can expect to receive some of the materials that were mentioned, such as meeting information. You know, I know that we're also working on pulling together a compendium of all the work that's been done by PAVE partners. So happy to pass that on to you, Benita, or to pass on to the urban team.
I know that the urban team is also preparing to share this slide presentation and some other things. So I'll pass that on to Bridget and Carla.
Sure, I can take that. Hi, everybody. Nice to see everyone in the audience. And we are working, so many of you may be part of our distribution list for APHA. So for specific updates about the meeting, we're not sending things broadly to the whole learning community. What we have done is had you all kind of reply to a Google form, or somehow we found out that you were going by asking you at other sessions. And so we've kind of added you to this list that we're growing. And that will be the list that we use to send updates. And so I am going to be sharing that Google form in a minute when we kind of wrap up, and we have some plugs for you all. One will be this Google form. So that's one way to make sure that you get information from us about APHA and specific PAVE related or vaccine equity related updates. We are working on a few additional, and also we have some previous sessions that you might be interested in. So earlier in October, for instance, we had a better presentations and posters session. So we will make sure to circulate the materials, though those already happened, the sort of handouts and other things that could be helpful if you are making a presentation at the conference. So we'll send that out to the list. There are a few other things we're still working on. So we don't have any more sessions, learning sessions that are related to APHA coming up between now and then, but we're working on a few documents. So the CDC team is working on a compendium that's already been mentioned, that will have the actual abstract, so you can kind of dig in a little deep into kind of the information that would be presented at a session, and it will link to the program where that those abstracts and that content will be presented. Our team is working on something that will be sort of a more at a glance, kind of day by day. What are the PAVE related presentations and posters? When are they happening? What sessions are they in? So you can kind of use that with the program to decide what you might want to go to if you're planning ahead, like Benita suggested, and thinking ahead, which things am I going to go to at which time? You can use this as just a suggested guide. And so we'll we'll focus on the PAVE program presentations, posters, films, but we will include some others. So we'll make sure to include the sessions that Benita's at, for instance, and then we'll also take a look through the program and try to identify some sessions that may not be about a PAVE program or funded by PAVE, but are related to vaccine equity. So those materials, at least ours, will have ready hopefully by mid next week. I know the compendium needs to go through a few kind of clearance steps, so that may be coming a little later. We'll send them to you as soon as we have them, but certainly more communication will be coming later this week or early next. And we are hoping to get together kind of informally, just sort of to meet each other on Monday evening is what we're leaning towards. But that will just be a casual gathering, probably like a happy hour type thing. And we are trying to make sure that we have a space that could accommodate, a couple dozen people. So we'll also share some information about that. So that's something that our group learning team is kind of present, because several of us are going to be there. And we would like to invite anyone from the CDC working on the program and others who are interested in this topic to meet for that. So as soon as we know about that, hopefully within a week, we'll also send out some time so anybody who wants to go to that can put it on their calendar, because I know there's lots of dinners and other things that are planned around this meeting, because it's an opportunity for people to get together who might work in very different parts of the country.
Thank you so much, Bridget, for that. Benita, we have a question in the Q&A for you from Elsie Smalls, who is presenting in a roundtable session. So they ask, what should they expect from a facilitator or moderator? Will they have specific questions prepared to lead or guide the conversation discussion.
Thank you for that, Grania. Elsie, for the most part, your session may be a part of a particular APHA session or caucus. And so ahead of time, they've asked for your background information and maybe a short bio from you. If you've already uploaded your presentation to share, and the presenter will use that. But there is usually a theme associated with each session, and questions will generate from that theme. But if you have certain questions that may be in line with this discussion that you will be contributing to, you're more than welcome to share those via the APHA portal, where you sign in to upload your information. You may also be able to connect with the chair or the lead of that session ahead of time to be a part of those discussions. Now, they may have already reached out, or they may reach out soon, or you may go ahead and reach out to them. If you have any other difficulties with that, I'd be more than happy to help you navigate that, and give you any additional information around that. The sessions and discussions are usually great opportunities for key discussions to share, but we also get feedback from the floor. So if you have key questions that may prompt certain things related to the contribution from your discussion points, it may be a great opportunity or an idea to share them ahead of time with the session chair. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Benita. And we have one more question in the Q&A around whether we have PAVE member regalia.
And Grania, you might want to comment on that as well as Bridget. I know we were trying to do some uniformity, some suggested uniformity to the slides. And I know, Bridget, you were giving some thought to that. So I'll leave it to the two of you to share a little bit more about that. Thank you.
Yeah, so in terms of folks who are making a PAVE funded presentation or poster, we do have the official logos. You can see them at the bottom of the screen right here, with the three kind of hexagons. So we are going to be, through that list that I mentioned earlier, making sure that anybody working on a PAVE funded presentation has access to those logos and is using the same logo, the official logo. So that if anyone in this session knows that you are working on a presentation and you're going to need that logo, feel free to chat that now, but we will be kind of distributing that to a group of folks that we know are either going or working on presentations. We don't have any kind of shirts or badges or anything like that, so that's probably also maybe what you're thinking about. Our team has talked about, kind of, at least for us, making some stickers. I mean, that would be something we would do for our team, but we'll bring some extra ones. I think that we will try to do that. And we'll bring some to that unofficial or that sort of casual gathering we're talking about. It's a little bit far into the meeting. But I don't know, Grania, I don't think there's anything in the works in terms of regalia besides that.
No, I think, it's something that we discussed, but time was unfortunately not on our side this year, but it's great to hear that there's interest for that. And it's something that we can kind of ensure and prioritized for the conferences in the future.
And I also wanted to mention that the APHA badge is a big deal. That badge is something that you have to hold on to get into any and every session. But the wonderful thing about that badge, and as many of you have seen in other conferences, is that if you're a member of different sessions or caucuses, that badge is ribboned. And so with the stickers that Bridget is talking about, it'll be an opportunity to put that sticker on your badge, because when you're networking or when you're approached by a lot of people, the first thing that they do is also make eye contact with your badge to learn a little bit more about your role at APHA and your position at APHA. So thank you.
Wonderful. Well, I think that is all of the questions that I can see within the Q&A. So if there are no other further questions, I think I'll pass back over to Carla and team.
Sure. All right. So thank you. Those are very insightful questions and really adding to the breadth and the depth of everything that you've learned today. So we have a couple of learning community announcements right before we go. So You heard Bridget talk about all of these wonderful opportunities and additional documents that we plan to send out. We are sending that out to only the folks that we have on a listserv. So we've created a Google form to collect information about anyone who would like to be on that list. And we are placing the link for that Google form in the chat now. So if you're interested in receiving any or all of those documents that Bridget mentioned, please make sure that you're signed up on the Google form. Next, we have a few more learning sessions coming up later this week and into early November. So this Thursday, October 26th, and next Thursday, November the 2nd. Wow, how did we already get in November? We will host a two-part training series on creating and editing videos using your smartphone. So come out and learn how to tell your vaccine equity story and create compelling videos for your project using just your smartphone. This will be a hands-on experience, and participants will be encouraged to test out making their own videos as part of the training. Registration is not capped for this training, and so anyone working on vaccine equity can attend. And we will post the registration link if we haven't already. That will be in the chat. All right, so on Wednesday, November the 8th, we will host our quarterly recurring orientation to the learning community. And this is just a 30-minute quick session that's meant for new members or anyone who wants a refresher on what the learning community has to offer. So that registration link is available for you in the chat as well. And that's, those are all of our announcements. And so we're super excited that you took some time to join us today. And we hope to see you at an upcoming learning community session and or at the APHA meeting in just a few weeks. Thanks, everybody.